If you had 10,000 US dollars to invest in Pokemon cards, what would you do? Now, this is a really important first starting out question because your first 10,000 that you invest into both singles or sealed Pokemon cards, and in particular sealed is what the focus of this video is the most important. If you're new here, my name's Michael. We talk all things Pokemon card investing on this channel. Today's video is of course sponsored by the Collector app. There'll be a link in the description to download it. That is one tip. If you're a new investor, grab yourself the Collector app to put all your sealed and singles into. It's a fantastic app to track your progress there. Let's jump straight into it with number one. I'm going to run through three things for you in this video. Why it's so important to invest your first 10K. 2, where to invest it, and then 3, some beginner mistakes that people might make when they are investing their first $10,000 into Pokemon cards. So number one, why is it so important? Now, the first premise I want to make is don't rinse yourself of all your savings. Like if you've only got $10,000 saved up, you have done a phenomenal job. Having $10,000 saved up in the bank gives you, I guess, a lot more freedom. Like if something goes wrong in your life, you know you've got a backup there. If you want to go on a holiday, you know you can go there. If something goes wrong with your car and you need to fix it, you know you can spend it. It gives you like this sense of, or feeling of, I suppose, less anxiety when you've got money in the bank. So don't rinse your whole savings. This is the side investment. This is the side hustle. I always talk to people about, investing 5 to 10% of your total investment portfolio into something fun. And whether that's antique artwork, whether it's collectible cars, or whether it's Pokemon cards, awesome. This is where you have the fun with it. This is where you have the fun with your investments. I still don't think you can go past, of course, having traditional investments like property and stocks, but this is the fun part. This is where you get to do this. Build your collection, talk to your friends about it, join communities online about it. This is the fun part. So this is the most important, is the first $10,000. So have your nest egg, have other investments. This is the first 10,000. And I'll tell you why it's so important. It's so important because this is your first chance at growth. Where you put your first 10,000, this has the most time to age. Because if you start now, $10,000 now is very different to $10,000 in 3 years' time, because that $10,000 that you spend in 3 years' time has to start again. This is your chance to get the most growth, the first $10,000. Now, here's a couple of examples for you. If you left that $10,000, just for argument's sake, in the bank, every country's a little bit different. In Australia, you're probably going to get 4 to 5% interest. So $10,000 over 5 years. You're going to have about or just over $12,000 in the bank after 5 years, not touching it, just letting it compound over 5 years. You're going to turn your $10,000 into $12,000. Now, here's another example. There's a set which was very touted at the time as a very exciting set. It was during the height or the start of COVID. There was a lot of hype around. There was a lot of content creators spruiking Pokemon, and that is Vivid Voltage. Believe it or not, Vivid Voltage is now 5 years old. November 2020, that set came out. If, hypothetically, you'd managed to get Vivid Voltage, because it was quite difficult to get at the time, for $100 US a box, maybe you're buying it by the case, maybe you're buying it by the pallet, whatever it might be, maybe you're buying it by an individual booster box, but if you could get, hypothetically, $10,000 worth of Vivid Voltage booster boxes 5 years ago, you would now have $23,800. That's getting them at $100 a box. So of course you would have had to buy yourself 100 boxes. And I know that's a big ask. That's a lot of booster boxes, a lot of space it takes up, but this is a hypothetical. Hypothetically, you bought 100 of them at $100, so $10,000 spent. They're now worth $238 US a booster box. So you'd have $23,800 US, not doing anything. So even hypothetically, taking away all the fees if you sold them now, you might pocket yourself $20,000. So you have performed well and truly better than just leaving your money in the bank. Now, if you'd made a wiser decision, and this is why it's so important, I'll get into where to invest your money very shortly, but this is why it's so important where you invest the first 10,000. Back in 2020, Unified Minds got a small reprint. There was more booster boxes brought onto the market. That set, of course, was one of the final Sun and Moon booster boxes. It's a fantastic Pokemon card set. Let's say you couldn't get them for $100 a box. Let's just say, hypothetically, you could get them for $200 a box. That would get you 50 booster boxes. And I know, crazy amount. I'm talking like Rudy numbers here, but this is just to give you an example. So don't shoot me down in flames about, oh, no one has that much money to buy that many boosters. We're talking $10,000 back in 2020. This is what it would have bought you. If you could get Vivid Voltage booster box at $100, you could have got 100 of them. If you could get Unified Minds at $200 US a booster box, you would have been able to get 50 of them. If you had 50 of them, you would currently now have $109,000 worth of Unified Minds booster boxes. They're going for just over 2,000 US dollars a booster box. So as you can see there, 10,000 in the bank, at compounding at 4 to 5%, you're going to have $12,000. Vivid Voltage at $10,000 worth of boxes, you'd have $23,800. $10,000 of Unified Mind boxes, you'd have 109,000 US dollars of boxes. See how your first 10,000 is so important. It gets you started. Now the bigger question though, and this is where this comes into play, is where to invest, because you can see the difference between a good investment and a poor investment. The poor investment example there was of course Vivid Voltage versus the good investment choice Unified Minds. And it's hard to know, isn't it? Like it's so hard to know exactly where to put your money because none of us have a crystal ball. Like what happens if Vivid Voltage due to COVID was so short printed, supply was eaten up, the Rainbow Pikachu, which has tough pull rates, was worth $3,000 in a PSA 10 and $1,000 raw, and Amazing Rares were worth heaps more. Well, maybe the shoe would be on the other foot. Maybe Vivid Voltage would be a more expensive booster box than Unified Minds. The point is we don't know, but we do know a few things. Historically, there are good performing sealed products and there are poor performing sealed products. So here's my advice to someone just starting out with $10,000 that wants to park it into sealed Pokemon products. First things first, number one, in my opinion, is still king, and that's a booster box. Booster box sets seem to be getting fewer and fewer, as in we're having more holiday sets like, in case you are a very new beginner to the hobby, holiday sets don't have booster boxes. I'm talking things like Prismatic Evolutions, 151 from Scarlet and Violet era, the upcoming Ascended Heroes from Mega Evolution era, they don't have booster boxes. And it's very smart marketing from Pokemon because people need to buy more products to get more packs, because a booster box is the densest way you're going to get yourself packs. You've got 36 packs sitting inside a tiny little box versus an Elite Trainer box, you're only getting 10 packs versus having to buy collection boxes which might only have 6 or 8 packs inside them. Like you've got to buy so much more product to get yourself your 36 packs that would come in a booster box. So very smart marketing because you've got to spend more money, buy more products, etc, etc, etc. All makes sense, of course. However, where should you actually buy it? Here's the general rule. Booster boxes are the best example. And look, that example of the Vivid Voltage booster box versus Unified Minds booster box, there are better sets to invest in than others. And one of the most important metrics is how close is it to being out of its print run? That's really, really important. And that shows, right, so Vivid Voltage had just come out in November 2020. It was still sitting in print cycle for the next 3 years. Like it was still in rotation for a long time to come. So it could have had multiple reprints, which it did. And as a result, it tanked the price of that product. Whereas Unified Minds, it was on its last legs. It was about to go out of rotation. It had one last small reprint. Like good opportunity to pick up those boxes knowing they're about to age. You're probably never going to see them be reprinted again. So number one, where to invest in is booster boxes. And the caveat to that is, like buying them at launch is great if you can get them super cheap, but ultimately sometimes buying something that's about to go out of rotation, particularly if it's still at a decent price, they're good pickups. At the moment, hypothetically, things like Paldea Evolved about to go out of rotation. Even Scarlet and Violet Base about to go out of rotation. Even Obsidian Flames about to go out of rotation. Paradox Rift about to go out of rotation. So these would be, these seem to have a higher chance of maybe doubling in price than a modern booster box like Mega Evolution, which has every chance of getting reprinted over the next 2 to 3 years, or Phantasmal Flames. So there's the first tip. Second tip is, if you can pick up a Pokemon Center Elite Trainer box off the Pokemon Center website at retail price, awesome. And if it has a good promo, even better. And I know these are very beginner steps, but that promo that comes inside a Pokemon Center Elite Trainer box is very important. Obsidian Flames, just to give you an example, is a very poor Pokemon card set in my opinion. You have one chase card, which is a Charizard. The rest is quite poor. And even the Charizard has relatively easy pull rates because it's a pretty small set. It doesn't have many expensive cards inside that set. It has a low total set value, which I talk about as being a poor metric for a Pokemon investment. If it has a high total set value, better investment. Low total set value, poor investment. So Obsidian Flame's not a great set, but the Pokemon Center Elite Trainer box has a very sought after, very nice Charmander promo inside there. And if you get the Pokemon Center one, it gets the Pokemon Center stamp in there, and that just sends prices crazy. And in particular, that card in a PSA 10 is going for massive dollars, which is made for a very expensive Pokemon Center Elite Trainer box. The 1-2 combo is if you're getting a good set with a good promo. Something like 151, good set with a pretty good promo inside there with a Snorlax. So that's tip number 2 on where to invest your sealed. And the third one is, if you can pick up a quite sought after ultra premium collection, there's better ultra premium collections than other. than others. Really importantly, it just needs to be those three things: ultra, premium, and collectible. Some of the UPCs aren't. You're getting things like plastic dice, you're getting poor promos, you're getting poor pack selection. Look, I've crapped on it a little bit, but the Greninja UPC is not a good ultra premium collection in my opinion. Yes, it's gone up in value, but what hasn't in the last 6 months? Everything's gone up in value in the last 6 months. That compared to something like the Charizard Ultra Premium Collection, really quality products and materials used inside there, like the dice, awesome playmat, 3 of the best Charizard promos you're ever gonna see, and an awesome pack selection of the greatest Sword and Shield old art sets. Like, that is ultra, it's premium, and it's collectible. That's really important. So they're the 3 tips I'll give you on where to invest your sealed money if you're getting started into the hobby. Now, the bigger one is mistakes. People can make huge mistakes. Like $10,000 starting off to invest, you can make huge amounts of it. And the first mistake you're probably gonna make is just not doing anything. Like, sometimes it's scary. Maybe you've saved up $20,000. So you're like, right, I'll set aside $10,000 for emergencies. I'll have another account where I have my, $1,500. I'm saving up even more, putting $50 away into that a week. That's gonna be my holiday fund for the end of the year. And then I've got the 10,000 saved up, ready to go, ready to invest in Pokemon cards, ready to make some gains. Not doing anything is probably the worst thing you can do. Like, look at that $10,000 leaving in the bank example that I showed you. Even one of the poorest performing sets over the last 5 years, Vivid Voltage, still doubled the performance of leaving it in the bank. So not doing anything is probably the worst thing you can do. The second worst thing you can do is overpay. And look, it's really hard to know whether you're overpaying or not, but quite often, if there's this artificial demand for a card, which we've seen a fair bit of, I'm talking singles here, we can also get it for sealed product. If there's artificial demand for a card and they've been absolutely pumped to the moon, there's been so many examples like Drowsy from Scarlet and Violet base that just go to an unreasonable price for what it should be worth, and it feels overvalued. Like, you feel like you're overpaying for that. Like, don't do that. If there's artificial demand for a booster box, like in my opinion, something like Phantasmal Flames, I get it. It's got one of the greatest modern Charizards of all time, but there's a lot of demand for that Pokemon card set, just driven off hype for the chase of that Charizard. I guarantee you that hype will die down. We're about to have Ascended Heroes coming out, then we're gonna have another set, which will be the newest flavor of the month, then we'll have another set, and people will quickly forget about Phantasmal Flames. And booster boxes, just because it's been out for a month or a month and a half, and booster boxes are sky high because everyone's still trying to chase that Charizard, you probably would be overpaying for that product right now. That's the second mistake you can do. Third mistake is buying poor products. There's so many people, and I see it all the time on Facebook, Reddit groups, of these pictures of people saying, how am I doing with my first Pokemon investing purchases? And it's literally like they've just gone into Walmart in the US or Target in Australia or Kmart in Australia and just cleared the shelves and put it on their shelves at home. And it's like, all you've done is got the dregs, like the bad products that no one else wants, like these poor collection boxes with crappy promos that probably cost $40 and you get 4 or 5 packs inside there, and it's probably still going to be worth $40 in 2 years' time when all those sets inside there are still in rotation. Then you're probably going to get jack of it and go, I haven't made any money, I've loaded it all into my portfolio and it hasn't really moved, this is crap, and you give up on the hobby. So there are big mistakes you can make. Well, I think that just about sums it up. How would you spend your first $10,000? That's what this video was all about. Hopefully I've shed some light on it for beginners and also maybe people that have been in the hobby for a while with some experience. Thank you everyone for tuning into the channel. I really, really appreciate it. We're getting very close to Chrissy, aren't we? And hey, quick side note at the end of the video, if you're still tuned in now, went over to the Australian Open in Melbourne to watch the boys like Adam Scott, Minwoo Lee, Cam Smith, the Aussies over there, and the Australian Open in golf. Rory McIlroy made an appearance, so much fun. Did any of you guys get to watch, or girls? Anyway, catch everyone for the next video. Cheers.